Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. As you can see, I'm excited. Um, I hope you are. Ask me why I'm excited. It's because I'm going for a run. Well, I'm not going for a run, but I'm going to a run. I've been trying to get ready for this run, but my last run or my last previous exercises has taken its toll. I've not recovered as I would like to recover. Um, so here's the thing. Um, got injured throughout when I was in the army. Well, not throughout, but at some point got injured, and I think I stayed injured throughout because sometimes you don't reveal that you are injured because you want to be part of the team, but then you just have to because you need to, with the intensity of what goes on, you quickly get treatment. You report, hey, this is happening, and then you're looked after. Um, but it's a lifestyle that is intensive. Things compound, and then you pick up new injuries as things go on. So I've been this way for a long time. So when I train these days, I I train hard, but I train soft, which means everything I do in the gym is non-impact. When I do impact, I stay on the treadmill, which is a bit softer and cushioned than road running. So everything about today is road running, and um, before the spirit of competition kicks in and I go harm like what's it called, like I'm Flash. So I'm just going to take my time, just support and presence is what I'm going to do. But it's more than excitement for me because um, it's a question I'll put out there. Uh, a young designer I know who branded this run that is now doing something really big somewhere over there in the Olympic Park. Well, I'm in the Olympic Park. Um, Her branding activity, a design that she did, is picking up traction, getting as known as it needs to because the client who she designed for is pushing the narrative of their business in different forms. So it's incredibly engaging with the community. It's a running club branding that she did. So that is a joy to see that something that you design is out there. So my question to you is, who here or anyone, you can put your names on, put your comments in and say, oh, I designed this and it's doing this. So let's register our wins. You know, what is that thing that you designed that is, it's doing its rounds, you know, among the space it was designed for and also in the design community. I think the one I'm most interested in is the design community because I don't think, well, we do. I think the creative community knows how to recognize each other's work and celebrate them. So let us know what are your wins, and also what are those things that didn't quite pan out? Not pan out because you didn't do the job. You designed, the client paid, but you haven't seen your work anywhere. Maybe the business didn't make it, or the idea tanked straight after you submitted your branding design or whatever. Let us know as well. One particular design that you love, you were waiting for the world to see, but it hasn't gone anywhere. You haven't seen it anywhere. And worst case scenario, you haven't even seen the clients. I mean, where did they go? Did COVID completely wipe them out? Let us know. So, without further ado, then, today is part two of creative speech. My name is Daniel Ihediwa, and I am a pastor in the Nxtion family, Spark Nation family. And what we do is what we do. We take all our strengths, condense it into a language, and use it to feed the community, young people, anyone who is anywhere they're not supposed to be, and they want to be here. Everything I do, everything we do, is to make sure that you have every support that you need. It can be from me sharing my experience, sharing every little bit of knowledge that I have, for you to see how you can convert that into action, into a solution, into a problem, an outcome, so that you don't say, I don't know. So this is why we do this. And then the next thing we do is action. I don't just talk, I act, I draw, I paint, I design, I support, I hug, I rebuke, I say, I can, I do what I say. So whatever it is that you need, this platform is for you. It's called Creative Talks for a reason. We talk about creative things. We talk about things that are hidden, or things that are in plain sight that people refuse to recognize. So that's why we're here. That's what we do. That's what I do. I'm a creative strategist, brand developer, um, whatever. Our work is out there. The authority I have to do this is because I've put in the work. I can point you to several things that I've done. I showed you last week or 2 weeks ago a bag I designed that the Queen of England is carrying. Let me let that register. Yes. Hello Magazine published the Queen of England carrying a bag that I designed. That is one of the authorities or reasons why I can sit here and talk. I do not want to be those people who have free platform and you go in, jump on and start yapping. All I'm trying to do is to find the best kind of words to put out there in these airways or in this platform, so that when you find it, it takes you from here to here. Or when you find it, you send it to someone who needs it. So what we've been doing for the past 8 weeks is looking deeply into what powers the creative. Several topics have been touched. Because of time, I'm not going to go back into it. I'm just going to start from where we stopped last week. So I urge you to go back and listen to how many episodes of this talks that we have accumulated. It's brilliant. Um, don't be so hard on me. This is the first time an introvert like me is being bold to come out here, stand in front of the world, or sit in front of the world and share my knowledge. You know that thing about imposter syndrome? Yeah, it gets even me. Or what am I going to say? What do I know to say? But here I am, fighting my own demons and my own battles of I just want to be in the background. I am those. I'm one of those people who like the behind the scene of the behind the scene of the behind the scene, as far removed as possible. But hey, here I am doing my best to share what someone possibly will need. So don't judge me too much. It's getting better and better, and it will keep getting better and better as we go forward. I promise you, it will keep getting better. Um, Especially with what I share, it will be distilled to a point where it is potent. There is not too much talk. You just get the meat of what you want. And the next promise would be our setup will look good. For now, this is what it is. Audio may not be perfect, but I guarantee you, in another week, it will be perfect. I'm not sure about what I say. I'm dressed like this because today is a run. In the next couple of hours, we're all going to meet at the Olympic Park, where an amazing running club, is partnering with another beautiful running club in order to do something even bigger. So it's going to be amazing. That's why I'm dressed like this. How do I dress? I express myself the way I am. I don't think too much about it, but I make sure whenever I come out here, it looks the part. So, creative speech, part two. Where do we go from there? Where we stopped last week was at point number 4, or section number 4, where the topic, or what I asked you to write down, is the 3 dimensions of creative speech. We started going into it. I think we dealt about 1 or 2 or 3 of them, but I'll summarize it very quickly before we pick up from where we stopped. So the first one was speech to self. And how we looked at that is your speech to self is your inner narration. It's you talking to yourself. It's you beefing yourself or building yourself or strengthening yourself, or it could be you straight up poisoning yourself. It could be you straight up knocking down your own walls. Um, but in the narration, the point strongly that I wanted to make with that is simply that before you speak to the world, before I come here and sit down and do what I'm doing, I guarantee you that I would have been constantly speaking to myself. I have to speak to myself to a point where I believe what I'm saying so that it will come across, it will land perfectly when it hits you. It's not going to, I will never come across as confused or I don't know what I'm saying. I may not be eloquent in speech. I may not be, my grammar or enunciation of some words may not be perfect. You may not be Queen's English. You may not be perfect. The African in me will sneak in most times and butcher some words, but you will not see me lack confidence or faith or belief in what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. I'm a creative through and through. It is incredibly, I don't know how, it's alive in me. So, and I know how I create. I know the state I put myself in. I have to constantly make sure that there is zero noise in a world where there is noise everywhere. So that when I see a brief from a client or I can perceive the world around me how I need to, not how it wants me to. So this is what I believe will come across to you. And that's my inner narration every day without even needing to, if I don't have to come and do this broadcast, I will still speak to myself. Why? Because it's real out there, it's real out here, and so on and so on. So the thing we try to point out with this one is that without noticing, many creatives just run the wrong commentary. They feed themselves with the negative, mess things up all the time. You can look at a place that you're supposed to turn into something and say, this place just kills creativity. I'm always late, and so all kinds of things. So the things that we verbalize sort of paints the picture of what is going on the inside. So number one of the three dimensions of creative speech is inner narration, how you speak to yourself. Number two we looked at was the speech then to others. So the first one is speech to self. The second one is speech to others. And this one builds what we looked at and coined as relational climate. What you say to others um, either breaks down relationships or it builds relationships. That's the second layer here, how you speak to people. Yeah, how you speak to other people. Um, we looked at how words can be weaponized, because if you confront someone, maybe it's not confrontation yet, but when you meet someone or when the conversation starts and you begin with a statement like you always, you never, why are you instantly, it creates friction and it puts the person on a defensive, and so on. So that was point number two. I don't want to go into it so much. Bear with me for a second. I've just noticed that I've not plugged in my phone, which is what I'm using. I don't want to lose power halfway. Told you it will get better. In the meantime, here we are, it's real life. Okay, where were we? Cool. Forgive me for that, but it's out of the way. So speech to others. So let's go straight to the third one. This is what we looked at and we called, I think I'll start from here and really turn this one again into something um, that will make a bit more sense. So the third one is speech to the world. And we looked at this from a point of view of it being cultural narratives. Yeah. So look at it this way. We looked at it from the point of view of your songs, your poem, your films, your brand stories, the campaigns you design, the words that you paint, whatever you do, it will do only one thing. It will speak about a culture that you belong to or a culture that you want to. So let's look at it this way. Anything that you put out, you have to make sure or ask that work and interrogate the work before it goes out. What story about reality, about the world I live in, about the space you occupy as a community, in a community, within a community, what story about this reality is this thing going to reinforce? If there is poverty rife in that place, is the work you're putting out going to reinforce the poverty around the place? So what is the work going to do? Then secondly, what kind of person is this work that I'm putting out, that you're putting out, going to invite? That's one. Then the second thing is, when that piece invites an audience, what will that audience become when they consume your work? Because you are speaking to a culture, you are speaking to a people. And you know me and my point of view about what is the purpose of a heartbreak song. If your heart is broken and you pick up a pen and you write a song and you go into the studio and you produce it, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to glorify bitterness? Or are you trying to show a path to healing when someone listens to that song? So that's what we looked at in these dimensions of creative speech. The next thing is, or that we went into, was the physics of speech, which is how words actually shape reality, the physics of it. It's very simple, but it's actually deep when you understand it, because you might be laughing, but instantly, one word, two, actually, let me start from three words, two words, one word goes into your ear, you hear it, it registers, and your whole world changes. Like which world? You might be saying something that is dear to you, all of your truth, so to speak, pouring it out, sharing it maybe to a few people, to an audience. It could be an audience of one or five. And then from nowhere, someone blurts out the word liar. If unfortunately you're not like me and that word hits home, find somewhere to land, it can change and reshape the whole, the immediate present, and it can also go straight into the future and ruin something out there. So what I want you to pay attention to this part is that we said that words aim the mind. Yeah, words, they do one thing. Wherever they point, attention follows. Because when you hear those words, liar, what happens? You're going to say, how, where, when, why, who said that, about what, all kinds of things. It will begin to drag you around, because wherever attention goes, then your energy goes. If you break off from what you were speaking or who you were speaking to, and you start to engage in who said what, your energy will go there. And wherever energy goes, we establish that one thing follows: your behavior. Yeah. So that's one point we looked at in the physics of speech. Now, the next thing to look at, um, actually, let me touch more on that physics of speech so that you can understand what I'm trying to say about words aiming the mind. So wherever words point, make the connections now. Wherever words point, attention goes. Wherever attention goes, energy follows. Wherever your energy goes, behavior follows. For example, um, say this room is um, what's the word? What can I say? If you say this room is uncomfortable, if you say it enough times, or this room is smelly, once it's something negative, and guess what? You're delivering a talk to some people, and you keep saying something negative about the room, the people in that room will take the shape of what you're saying. Because it's going to be, is he talking about us? Am I the one who is? What's going on? Whatever you say changes the energy of the room. And once the energy of the room changes, because their attention has gone to the negative things that you're saying, to what the word aims their mind at something, behaviors will start to follow. Behavior like what? Somebody will stand up and walk away, and so on. Or someone will say something back to you that is equally negative. But if you say, this room is the room where ideas are born, it's going to change the minds of people who are there, and so on. So, point number 5, memory. Why memory? Words freeze events into identity. So remember, what we're dealing with today is, or part 2 of, is creative speech. So you have to understand the dynamics or the physics of words, what it can do, what it will do. You have to understand how powerful words are in order to know how to use it. Everything I'm saying here is about you, who is a creative. And a creative is nothing but a human being. And a human being deals with other human beings. So sometimes we lose clients because we don't know what to say to clients. We don't know what to remember about our clients. It might be from the research that we do. So I'm trying to say or show how information, which is words, however way they come to us, in any form of speech, is something that we have to know how to use and speech it. Yeah, I said that. And speech it back into the word, or the correct way of saying it, and speak it back into the world in the right way, in the right manner. So we're looking at memory now as a dynamic to remember, or something to really think about. Because words freeze events into an identity. Please write that down. Words freeze events into an identity. Two people go through the same failure. One will say that project failed. Yeah? Another one will say, I am a failure. One says that project failed. Another will say, I am a failure. The first one, or the first person, is labeling an event. The second is labeling self. Remember what we looked at first, that words freeze events into identity. So one can be analyzed and improved, but the other one becomes a prison. When you look at it and say, this event failed, you can look at so many things. Why did it fail? Was it the people who were employed to deliver it? Was it our preparation? Was it the venue? Was it so many things? All of it can be analyzed and improved. But the other one, I am a failure, shocking. Now, the first foundation of the prison is dug when you said it once. It depends on how powerful the first time it was said is. It could be a straight wall shooting up, or it could be foundation has been laid. Keep speaking that enough times. Say it more and more again. I'm a failure, I'm a failure. It could be directly in those words, or in any way that means exactly the same thing. A prison is gradually being built. That one becomes a prison. So for creatives then, what am I saying? So that you can apply it to yourself. Also, both as a human being and as a creative, learn to name what happened without damning who you are. Without attacking who you are, learn how to name exactly what happened. Listen, it does not matter. Unless you're strong enough to say, okay, I did this wrong, but it's not to directly. So you can say, I failed this time. But by that, you haven't self-harmed. You are just recognizing where you are so that you can step out of it and step into a much stronger ground. You can call out yourself for things that you did wrong only to know what to do next. So learn to name the events, the things that happened without damning yourself, without hurting yourself. The pitch, the pitch was weak. It's different from I am not a strategist. I am a poor speaker. Da, 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 da. No. Remember, based on what we spoke about before, the creative double, this is how the spirit refuses to let the flesh write the whole story. Remember what we said, creative double, there is two of us, two of me in here using this one canvas, the flesh and the spirit. So you have to make sure that it's the spirit that will be stronger all the time, refusing to let the flesh, your weakness, to write the entire story. So that is memory, remembering, trying to not say things that when you remember them, you fill the vault of pain for yourself to always have access to. So memory. The next thing then is agreement. So if words freeze events into an identity, whether you like it or not, words also signs a contract. So let's say you say, I'm a failure. You created an identity, but it can still be erased. You haven't signed the contract yet until you do what seals the deal. And then that's it. It might be irreversible, or it might take a long time to get you out of that. So earlier we quoted where Christ said, if two agree on earth, something is enacted, something begins to happen. So every time your mouth opens and speaks a word that agrees with fear, cynicism, smallness, it could be whatever, you are essentially co-signing that into reality, or you're co-signing reality. Because guess what? Yes, failure happened, but don't co-sign that I'm a failure. Stand outside of it. Don't jump into the mix. Stand outside and say, okay, I know what happened here is because of this, 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 this. Don't co-sign that reality as this is me, woe is me. Every time your mouth agrees with God's intention, what you're doing is you are co-signing a different future. Yeah, so that you're not stuck here now, which will become stuck in the past the next second. You're always looking forward to a strong future because of what you said, what you co-signed. Whether you like it or not, if you co-sign with God, if you say what you need to say, He's going to be the one who will snatch you out of where you are into where you need to be. So you going into the future is not your job. It's for you to co-sign with the person who is able to take you from death to life. Yes. But when you co-sign with, I'm a failure, you are stuck here, and here, unfortunately, in the next second, is going to be the past, and you are stuck in the past. Yes. Every time your mouth agrees with God's intention, one thing is happening. You are co-signing with a beautiful future. So creative speech is about choosing which contracts you sign with your voice, with your words, with your time. As limited as time is, imagine what we do with it. And time is such an incredible entity. Whatever you throw into time, it will multiply it and present you what is incredible, i.e., should I say this? I'm going to say it. It's one of the most creative things that happens in life anyway. A man puts his seed into a woman in time, and time multiplies that seed into a whole human being. I beg you to see this anyhow. Anyhow you want to see it, see it. I don't know what else to use to express this for you, to explain what this means to you, so that you understand the power of words when time is a witness. Is saying, please speak. What would you like to say? What would you like to say? Keep talking. Sign that contract. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure that section is clear. It's the physics of how words changes reality. I'm trying to see where to take this from, or whether or whether to leave it there, because I believe there is no, I don't want to dwell too much on it or say too much, because it's self-explanatory how our words can do stuff. But it's just a case of now knowing that where we are going with this is for you to be a very, very, um, it's not just being articulate, but to know the power that is in words, and then to know how to apply that within a creative world, within a creative frame. So this is about being a very sound, strong human being before that human being can create. Otherwise, because you will always create, we will always create. The problem is, are we going to create pain, or are we going to pour peace, joy, love, healing back into the world? So as much as I'm saying this, you have to also understand, or teaching this, if we can say that I'm teaching, is you have to also understand how can you teach this with everything you do, or maybe directly teach this to someone as you are hearing it. So let's look at the framework on how you can teach creative speech. So look at it this way, and I'm just going to breeze through this before we go into another section, or just close this out anyway, because this is the tail end of creative speech, and we're just half an hour in, so which is beautiful. So um, if I'm going to give you first a section one of teaching this, I will say, as a creative, you have to know, because every one of us is familiar with wherever you work. For example, a studio, photography studio, design studio, drawing studio, a hair studio, wherever creativity happens is a studio. So you have to look at it this way and write this down: the studio of the mouth. Yes, because for God, in Genesis 1, his first studio, God's first studio is his voice. As soon as he opened his mouth to speak, things begin to happen. Now, look at everything that we've dealt with from week one to now. It's about where creativity happens. Creativity happens in authority that you have. Creativity happens in the future. Creativity happens in how you lead yourself. Creativity happens within a room, within a space. So your tongue is the final room, is the space, is a place where all of your revelation becomes reality, or it remains a theory. What I mean by that is, someone can come and say something to you. Oh, I've got a job for you. Oh, I've got a job for you. I've got a job for you. And nothing ever comes out of it. You're not going to take that person very seriously. So you just remain theory for them. But if someone says, I've got a job for you, and it's 1K today, 10, 100, it keeps growing, the words they speak become reality. It's the same thing with you. Your words, your mouth has to be respected as where creation happens. It's your studio. So the question then is, who currently owns your mouth? Who is the manager of this studio? Who runs it? Your strength or your weakness? Your spirit or your flesh? It's key to know these things, because remember what we said before, 2 by 2, creative double. There's always two voices, or there are two voices and one tongue. Two voices, one tongue. Which one will reign? The one who will say, I'm finished, or I'm a failure, or the one who will say this project is a failure. I'm still having problems with charge. Okay. So two voices, one tongue. Let's bear that in mind. It's like saying I am stuck versus you saying I am being prepared. What just happened is preparing me, and so on. You know, you can say they hate me. That client doesn't like me. That client is this. Versus I can learn something here. I see why this happened. I see why they're saying this. It could even be that there's an opportunity and you say, this is too big for me. No, build a team, find leverage, build a team, you know, see it as this is my calling. I can do this, or this is consistent with my calling, with how long I've been doing this creative work. Today was inevitable. It's finally here. Instead of saying this is too big for me. Two voices, one tongue. So let me ask you, can you remember a situation where what we are saying was the case for you? Write it down. Is it possible to backtrack and look at things from a different perspective now and say, oh yeah, that's actually was not me. It was, and it was. Try and find those things out if it exists for you and release yourself from whatever your hands or your mind is tied that you don't know. Because there is a word you spoke somewhere some time ago that is causing you to be bound today. Yeah? Do that little exercise in your own time. You can even do it now. No, don't do it now. Let me quickly move on. Do it after. Okay. Section number 3 then. So we've looked at the dimensions of creative speech. Let's look at directions of creative speech. Or in section 3, we looked at the 3 directions of creative speech, which is to self, to others, to the world. Try and make sure, as part of the exercise we're doing, that you write those things down. How you, what is your identity? What does your internal narration looks like? So it doesn't take you by surprise, or you do it without knowing. You have to actually arrest the situation now. Catch yourself out thinking or speaking. So let it not become don't conform to a point where you just do it without knowing. Try and find out, do some forensic research now on yourself. How do I talk to myself? How do I speak to my teams? How do I speak to clients? How do I speak to family? How do I speak to my collaborators or friends or whoever I work with? And what is my message to the world? Try and capture all these things in a place where it will give you a perfect picture of where you are. And I'm telling you, when you know where you are, you will know where the future is. For example, if you want to go to Scotland and you're not in the car, you're not in a bus terminal, you're not in a train station, you're not at the airport, you're not in any way, shape, or form, anywhere that will get you to Scotland. You're possibly sat in the toilet doing nothing, and you have to be in Scotland. You know you're not going to be in Scotland. But by the time you find yourself in a vehicle on the whichever motorway that goes to Scotland, or airport, or bus terminal, or the train station, you can calculate how long it will take you to get to that future called Scotland. When you know these things, I guarantee you, some of the frustrations that we have that are here, it will come down remarkably. So do these things, study, find a pattern to yourself. Psalm 42 somewhere says, why are you downcast, O my soul? And then that scripture ends in hope in God. So it says, why are you downcast? You have to find out why you are downcast. Don't go around speaking things over yourself. This is what this job is. This is what this contract is going to be. This is this. This is that. No, no, no. Pick it up. Why are you speaking that way? Let's get into a forensic search now. The same way the psalmist in Psalm 42 was speaking to his own soul, engage with yourself now. Stop doom scrolling to mask something that is hidden somewhere. Let's go deep and discover who we are. I know I've just gone straight into it today without really engaging with anyone, but I hope you are listening to this and taking notes and understanding that I'm a bit passionate about this. So just look at what I'm saying, write it down, understand it, and let's win. Because by the time we get into the next phase of what we are doing, when we start discussing projects, how to really talk to clients, and we get out of where we are now, this foundational stage of these talks, it will be easy to get into it. So bear with me because of time. I don't want to do part 3 of this. That's why I'm just speeding through it. So keep commenting, keep sharing, keep doing whatever. It's not too late to invite someone to join this conversation now, but let's lock in and make the most of this. I want to make the most of it so that we finish this creative talks or speech part 2 and not come back to it. So I'll reference scripture again, which is very, very key. I love this one, Proverbs 18, verse 21. It says that death and life is in the power or are in the power of the tongue. So whether you live or whether you die depends on how your tongue works, what you say, what you do with it. So the question then is, if we're pointing out how much damage can be done by how we speak, how the studio runs, or what it produces, it would then be important for someone to say, so how do I guard my mouth? How do I watch what I say? What are the simple practices? Here we go. It's simple. I'm just borrowing from both training that I've received and things I've known to do by myself, things I've tried and it has worked. It's very key. Number one, how do you protect yourself? 10-second delay, number one. Don't rush into saying. Before you respond in a heated conversation, remember, heated conversation can be you and you, the two of you in here. Before you go into judgment of I'm a failure, or if it is between you and somebody else, it could be a client, it could be a family member, it could be anyone, which now deals with speech to others. 10-second rule. And information has gone in, you've heard it clearly, and what you think the intention of the words are. Don't rush into responding. Take 10 seconds to catch up with your tongue. No, let's put it this way. Let your spirit, give your spirit at least 10 seconds. Because trust me, you may be hot-headed or whatever you are, you may think you are. You have a spirit that is not as you think you are. Because the spirit always produces life. It never kills. So give it time to catch up with that situation. Because the flesh is always quick to move. So let your spirit catch up with your tongue. Ask internally, which me wants to speak right now? Yeah. If you always want to hurt, fire back, cause pain, whatever, it should tell you that one should not speak. So you can also have word. So number one is 10-second delay. Number two is word fast. Yeah. So everyone has that toxic sentence or that word. It's their go-to word to cut themselves with, to sabotage themselves with. Try and fast those words. Ban it for a week. Ban it for a month. Ban it for a year. Where we're going is ban it for life. To a point where when you use it, it will no longer have the same effect. Because there are words, when you think of those words, you think of it in your head, it sets you up. You think of the food. Because you probably tell yourself every day, fool, what have you done? You fool. Oh, come on. So watch fast is what you have to adapt to, switch to. Yeah. I'm broke. I'm stuck. People never change. No, people change. I know it's a hard statement, but find a truthful alternative and replace it with. Number three, have a ritual that produces blessings. For example, I can tell myself all I like that I am an introvert. I don't like speaking. I don't like being public. This is YouTube, for goodness sake. This is going out possibly to the whole world. I would never want that for myself. That exposure, never. But guess what? This is part of my own blessing ritual. I'm going to put out a blessing out there in the world. This creative talk or this creative session it's a blessing over my work and it's a blessing over someone. It's a tool for collaboration. It's a tool for you to know that you are not alone. I'm here with you. We are together. We go through the same thing, and here's how we heal. We're not going to sit down and compare pain or who is weaker, who is more introverted. No, this is my blessing ritual. I'm going to be out here every Wednesday like clockwork. I'm going to put this out there. I don't know what it's going to do to me, but I know it's going to bless someone. It's going to do something incredibly amazing. It's going to do something beautiful. Then number four, have an editorial conscience. Have an editorial so you know what you need to edit. There's an editor that runs a magazine. So with every release of everything, ask yourself, if this piece of sermon or what I'm saying now, if it goes out, what doctrine about life am I preaching? I'm preaching that now. The pain we go through will be halved, if not entirely erased, if we watch what we generate from the inside. I'm going to look at that, edit it to a point where, is this what I'm putting out? Is this what people are receiving? It would be wrong to say what I'm trying to say is, no, I don't ever want to use what I'm trying to say is. I hope that every word I'm saying as it comes out is the only chance I get to make sure you get it one time and to make sure that I've emptied out properly. I am not here to cause confusion. What I'm trying to do here is make this thing understood instantly. Now, finally, then, let's deal with or speak about, I love this one, prophetic speech. Yes, there is something like that. You said it one day. You said it, by this time next week, I'll be in the beach. By this time tomorrow, I'll be partying. You are prophesying. And guess what? When you do that, you do everything. That speech powers you to a point to see that everything you need to do to hit that point in the future happens. You pack your passport or you check your passport, you begin to pack your bags, you book your ticket, you book the hotel, you make contacts. Oh, are you coming? Because we're leaving at 9. You begin to plan and your execution heightens. You become more articulate in your planning and this, and so on. You're going somewhere. Why? Prophetic speech followed. No, came out first, and then something proceeded. Action. Remember what we said, that words aim the mind. Prophetic future, prophetic speech is incredible because it ties back to creative future. Remember, this project will work. This client will love our work. When you say that to your team, they will now walk towards that future because you've said something that is pointing to a future that is incredible. Instead of breaking everyone's spirit down, spirit-led speech, spirit-led speech does not lie about reality. Because if you say this thing is going to fail, it's a lie. What makes you think it's going to fail? Even if things are pointing to it failing, reality is that the human spirit can overcome anything. When two or three of us are gathered and we agree that we can make something happen, it's going to happen. So spirit-led speech does one thing, it tells the truth about the future because it speaks from a higher reality. God called Abraham father of many nations when he was childless. He became that. Christ said to Peter, on you, Peter, I will build my church. You are the rock. He became that. So I'm telling you today, find something to name, to speak about in the future. Call something according to what you want. It's a thing. It's actually a thing. A mom gives birth to a baby and they call them something. Guess what happens throughout the child's life? They answer to that thing. John comes. Incredible. It's the simplest that I can do. So when you write a song, when you design a choreography, when you do anything creative, you are speaking about the future that will either destroy someone's life, destroy a community, a culture, or lift it up out of poverty, out of pain, out of fear, out of doubt, and so on. So let me close this then. And I'm going to paint a simple picture, which is, imagine your inner life as a sound studio where there are two channels always live. As in, it's a sound studio. Could be a radio station where sound is produced, audio. Two channels are always live. Channel one is your flesh voice, your fear, your ego, your trauma, your pain, and so on. And channel two is a spirit voice where faith is broadcasted at the loudest and the strongest. There is clarity of who you are. Your identity is sure. There is love there. You know the future that is ahead of you. Both are feeding into the same microphone that goes to your mind. Please listen to this. Paint this picture. They're going into the same microphone that feeds or goes to your mind. It goes to your community and it goes to your audience. What would you want? Which would you want to register more? So creative speech, as we've looked at it, is asking you one question. Or creative speech is God handing you the mixing deck. We're still in a sound studio. He's handing you a mixing deck and he's asking you, which channel would you turn up? Remember what happens in parties when people tell the DJ or the DJ turns it up. What does he turn up? He never turns up what dumbs down the crowd. When that crowd is jumping, what he does is he pumps it right up. So God gives you a mixing deck where these two broadcasts, these two sounds are in the amplified state is coming to your mind, coming to your community and your audience, and he says, which one are you going to turn up? Which volume will you turn up? And which one will you mute? It's what creative speech is looking to achieve today. Is what we are looking to achieve today. For you to know which voice to mute. And guess what? When we get to this stage, then you can go and create. Then you can go and draw. Then you can boldly say, you know what? I should stop drawing or trying to make my drawings famous. I'm going to go and draw for that filmmaker. I'm going to go and do something. You will find that noise will show you that you need to go and collaborate with someone, not be by yourself. When the spirit channel is up and the flesh channel is turned right down, if not just switched off, your words will start to do one thing. It will start to clean the rooms you are in. I hope you heard that. Your words will start to clean the rooms you are in. This room here, this room, and then this physical room. Your lyrics will start to heal the wounds that they describe. Remember, she did this, he did this, they did this, that did that. Those lyrics that are painful, those lyrics will start to heal the wounds they describe. You will start to write love, peace, joy. Even though you're describing a situation, in there is healing. Your scripts, when you write them, they will start to show exit points from the prison a lot of people are in that even you might be in. It will begin to show exits from darkness that you have always portrayed, or the hopelessness you've always portrayed. I hope this is as clear as I pray that I'm trying to achieve. I'm making it. When God gives you that mixing deck and you turn down the flesh and turn up your spirit, because if you quieten down, you will hear your spirit. When you turn that spirit up, your conversations will start to build cities. It will start to build jobs where people can breathe, where people will become themselves. Let me say this, and it's the last sentence I will make today that summarizes creative speech. Even though everything I've said all this while is what creative speech is all about. When your words start to clean the rooms that you're in, when your words or your lyrics starts to heal the wounds they describe, when the scripts you write begin to show exits out of this darkness of a prison that we're all locked in, that you are locked in, I'm locked in, and the world is locked in, it will begin to show exit points. Remember when a script writer writes a movie, what he does is he puts the actor or the protagonist in a situation that is hard. And then from nowhere, he will write, he goes into that room, he will find something, mix it together. Before you know it, he creates an explosion that opens a wall and he escapes. That's what scripts do. That's what you will begin to do with your own scripts when you turn the spirit up. And your conversations will start to build cities that will be an ecosystem where people will do incredible things. That is what creative speech is. That's what this week has been about. That's what we are concluding today. Speech is powerful. Not just talking about God, but talking like someone who has heard him. Talking like someone who has him, inside you. That's what creative speech is. Speak like the God you are, because God made you. Don't fight me on that. Do not fight me on that. You are somebody who has a spirit. Turn that spirit up. Let your creative speech be powerful and be amplified. It's been amazing. I'll leave it here. 1 minute to exactly an hour, and we call this a beautiful conversation. I call it a beautiful conversation. Take this into your future and be the best version of yourself that you've always been. Create the best work you've ever created, and it's going to be amazing. I love you as much as I love myself and this work of creativity that we do. I hope to see you next week, same time, 9 o'clock on Wednesday. It's going to be amazing. Take care and God bless. I've been Daniel Inheduwa. God bless. Thank you. See you next week. Everyone, it's been amazing. I love you all. Take care. God bless.